Yeah, this guy named Carlton Sheets. Do you guys remember that guy? That's really familiar. Buy a house, no money down.
Right. Oh, that's right. I remember. That's right. Yeah,
I saw him on an infomercial one night. And he had this display was paid $1,000. I was like, if I pay $1,000, I'll be able to buy a house and work on it. I mean, I don't know. I was, but I did that and, started kind of looking at real estate from a standpoint of investment properties.
So did you do that? You bought one of those cheap houses?
I did.
Did it work?
It quickly taught me that I wasn't a damn real estate manager or had bad idea. And people are tough,
Carlton flipped and lied, bro.
He lied.
Carlton's lied to me.
He was there.
Carlton's giving me a bunch of sheets.
He was. There was a bunch of sheets. It's like
Carlton's full of sheets.
He is full of sheets.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Small Business Safari, where I help guide you to avoid those traps, pitfalls, and dangers that lurk when navigating the wild world of small business ownership. I'll share those gold nuggets of information and invite guests to help accelerate your ascent to that mountaintop of success. It's a jungle out there, and I want to help you traverse through the levels of owning your own business that can get you bogged down and distract you from hitting your own personal and professional goals. So strap in, adventure team, and let's take a ride through the safari and get you to the mountaintop. Got 4 words for you. It's called NARI. Who's the president? That's right. That's me, big boy. That's who I am. Huh?
And you reflecting right now.
You know that, huh? That's right. You know what,
Chris?
You know what? Just went up to Chicago for the board meeting. They're like, "Hey, I listened to your podcast. Thanks for the NARI shout outs." They did not send the limo. I did mention, and I said no red M&Ms in my bowl, man. I said I gotta have that. I gotta have that. If the presidente is coming into the house, he's got to have some business, right? You know what I'm saying?
El Jefe.
Oh my God! Please feed the ego. That's what I kept telling everybody. Feed the ego. Feed the ego. What am I? I'm just a small handyman out of Atlanta, but man, don't let anybody else tell you I'm a legend in my own mind. So let's keep rolling with this, Alan. We've got another great episode for you guys. You're probably driving around in your truck, trying to figure out how to make things happen. If you're listening to us, hopefully this is your day to get back up on it, man. We're going to give you 25. You know what? We'll probably give you the full hour today. I'm going to give you the full hour today, Alan. I'm going to make sure that everybody here has a great time.
Full hour mean what I think it means?
Full hour of power, my friend. That's what we do. Because we got to make this thing happen. We got a great guest. So all jokes aside, I am the president of NARI. No, hold on.
Have you mentioned that you're the president of NARI? Yeah.
All right.
Enough.
So I got
times before you're going to make 7 times before it makes an impression. So you're at 3 now.
Right. 3.
We're
it's 45
seconds in.
Yeah. So in this high paying position of the NARI paid president,
right,
I got sucked into it, but I got volunteered in.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I learned from people before me is that when you find the right character of people, you ask them to join you. And that's what he said. He said, Chris, I saw something in you and I believed in what you were doing. And that's why I'm so glad you did what you did. And I didn't say I saw this guy, but when he said, I'm going to raise my hand and I want to get involved because I want to raise the elevation of what's going on with remodeling here in Atlanta. And I got to know this guy a little bit. I'm like, oh man, I like this guy. And I really want to have this guy on the pod and I want to talk to him more, but we've got him involved and he has raised his hand, stepped in full force and doing some great things in our community and remodeling. We got Rob Stephenson from Stephenson Construction here in Atlanta joining us today. Rob, welcome to the show, big guy.
Cheers, Rob. Thank you. Cheers. Awesome.
So Alan just got a chance to meet Rob and we're clinking it up. We're going to drink a little bourbon and we're going to have some fun with this thing.
Bourbon, a little Buffalo Trace.
I did. I brought out the Trace today, man. I saw that in the store and that's coming back finally. And that's been my favorite forever. So let's talk about this. Rob, as I mentioned before we got on the podcast, I probably don't know as much about you as you think I did.
Okay.
So let's talk about this. Where'd you grow up? What were you doing? Let's talk about as young Rob Stephenson. Was it, oh my God, I can't wait to start remodeling houses and help people?
No, it was not like that. And thanks for having me. I'm from the Philadelphia area, a town called Gaydon, Pennsylvania. It is one of those boroughs, if you will, the borough of Philadelphia, the Philadelphia area. And I got into remodeling really just kind of by chance. I really, we lived in a old colonial style home. And my dad and my grandfather used to do a whole lot of stuff to that house. I mean, just knocking out walls and all that type of stuff. And I just got fascinated because he was always tinkering and putting stuff together and making things work. And I actually wanted to be an architect. So I really I didn't get the chance because my parents told me that architects don't make any money.
They were right.
They're like, we're going to put you in college if you're going to college, because they didn't pay for it. So, but if you're going to college, you're going to have to pick something that you can make some money in. So how about an engineer? I didn't know one thing about engineering, but in high school, I was an artist. Believe it or not, I was weird like that.
What kind?
I did like what do you call freestyle painting and realism, kind of stuff like that. If you want to get back into that.
Yeah, nice.
So you had a very artistic bent in high school.
Yeah,
but they told you need to get into engineering. That's the 180.
Yes,
that, right? You're talking to an engineer. You're talking to that's a 180.
It's a 180.
What kind of painting do you do, Chris?
Fingered.
I did some pretty cool
one finger for you, Alan.
My paintings aren't very interesting. But yeah. Sometimes he uses two fingers. It's just one on each hand.
That's true. It depends how far he gets
them together. That's right.
You know where I'm going. So you're artistic, but they said, hey, if you're going to go, you got to go for something that makes money.
Yeah, I had a cousin that was actually was an architect, and she was getting her ass kicked out there. So I guess they called me. They're going to save me, and so they said, yeah, you're going to engineering. It was kind of a downer. It was a crusher to me because I really wanted to do that. And so I enrolled at Tuskegee University for aerospace engineering, believe it or not. No kidding. Yes. It was an aerospace school. They had a wind tunnel and all that good stuff.
Yeah, right.
Tuskegee Airmen,
Yeah, huge history there.
Man, unbelievable. That school. And so I went down there and the wind tunnel didn't work.
By the way, Metro Philly to Tuskegee, Alabama.
Yes.
Pretty much the same thing, right?
Okay.
What? Yeah. How did you get to go that far away to go to school? My dad wouldn't even let me get out of the freaking state.
I mean, I struggled, man. I was like, what the hell is this? Where
are the buildings?
Timbuktu. I had no idea. Everything was so much slower, and the landscape, of course, definitely different. And I actually didn't want to stay there. I was like, no, I want to get out of here. I told my grandmother, I was like, man, I'm out of here. She was like, stay your ass down there. You're going to finish. I had, my background, family background was really spotty. I had some challenges growing up. I had, drug addiction in my family. Not me, but, my mom was struggling with that. My mom and my dad didn't get along. They were all split up. There was all that going on. So it was like, I got to get the hell away from Philly. There was too much going on.
And was your grandmother a big influence in helping you get to Tuskegee?
Absolutely. She was probably the biggest influence, along with one of my best friends who was down there at the time. He was about 4 years older than me. And got accepted to a couple schools. He was like, screw those schools. You're going to Tuskegee. So I said, all right, let's go.
So you went, started to have regrets and said no. And grandma said, no, you keep your ass there and make it happen.
Oh, absolutely.
And so you got your 4-year degree.
Yeah, I got my 4-year degree.
Engineering in which?
Mechanical.
Good man.
I switched my major. I went to mechanical. We looked at the landscape coming out. I came to school to get a job, right? And, if I wasn't going to be working in architecture, I wasn't going to be working in aerospace. That industry is very, very volatile.
100%. As a guy who was a mechanical engineer, he came out and was in the aerospace industry. Yes. My first job was at Curtis Wright. And again, I was on the upside because they had just won the Boeing contract. Right. And a lot of engineers were moving from California to move to Little Shelby, North Carolina. So think about that. California, that's kind of like going from Philly to like Tuskegee. You're the middle of flipping nowhere, bro. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't even speak that Southern language, but I learned it quick. So you got your mechanical engineering degree, and did you decide then you're going to be a remodeler?
No. I graduated. And I worked, interestingly enough, United Technologies, which is in the aerospace industry too. But I worked with Carrier Transit Co., which made the air conditioners. So I kind of had like a minor in air conditioning. That was kind of weird. But so I worked with them. I co-opted with them, and then I worked with them. I was on an extended school plan. It took me a while to get the hell out of school.
Okay.
Then I had a great time.
All right.
Once you made me stay there, you decided, okay, I'll just stay here.
Yeah. So, but one thing led to another, and I started off in Athens, Georgia, then moved closer to Atlanta, and worked for a company there, and knew that okay, engineering sucks. I'm doing pretty good, but I hate this. I do not like my life right now.
Is that the artistic coming out of you?
Yeah.
You think
Yeah.
you're
Okay.
total battle, right? It's an
Right.
internal battle.
Oh.
For me, same thing. I was an engineer, and I was battling with I'm so extroverted that I
Yeah.
just could not sit in front of this machine
Couldn't do it.
for 8 hours and design it. Do you have what it takes to start your own business? Are you tired of the 9-to-5 corporate job and ready to make that leap into entrepreneurship? Then you need to check out From the Zoo to the Wild, the new book by successful entrepreneur Chris Lalamia. This book is a unique perspective on the journey into the wild world of home services and delivering excellence in service while working in customers' homes. Lalamia shares his path to success in this industry, including proven customer relationship strategies, award-winning customer experience processes, and a unique approach to training a team of service technicians to perform at the highest levels. Whether you're a small business trying to scale or a franchise operation, From the Zoo to the Wild will give you the mindset, habits, leadership style, and customer-oriented processes to succeed as a small business owner in the home services space. So if you're ready to take control of your future, get your copy of From the Zoo to the Wild today, available on Amazon.
The hell? What do you mean I don't get to draw the plane and make it, or design the car?
Yeah.
No, you fit what other people, put together and design. You fit that in and make it work in this cool design you had nothing to do with.
But at the time, you had healthcare, you had
Right.
401k,
Yeah.
you were you had a job. Did you have to wear a tie every day?
No, but I did wear a damn, golf shirt or something like that every day.
Alan, did you have to wear a tie every day?
Every day.
Every day, buddy. That's right. Every
You can't imagine getting a tie every day.
Oh, I look good.
Yeah.
Oh, Alan looked the part, bro.
Right.
Oh yeah, no, he looked CEO. I mean, he was
Yeah.
an enterprise.
Yeah.
He was Big Daddy, and
Yeah.
he was balling hard, man.
Yeah.
Southeast Regional President. Maybe
I didn't mind wearing a tie.
Right.
I just got done. Speaking of Halloween, went to my neighbor's house who was a Chick-fil-A, and he brought his bushel bag full, a duffel bag full of Chick-fil-A ties.
Huh?
They gave him Chick-fil-A ties like every year, like a couple of every year. And these actually look pretty good. They're not bad. I'll show you guys after.
Okay.
And I'll post them online because they're really good. But I said, you know what? As a kid who went to a Catholic high school, I learned how to tie a tie in 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Because we'd have our Father Paul.
Mm.
If you didn't have your tie on when you walked in that door, you got a detention. And we always used to make a game out of this, walking up the sidewalk and tying it right in front of him, right when you get there. Tie and going on in. All right, so back to you. So you were there. You're getting. Hey,
We do have a guest.
do we? We brought him here all the way here, and with a broken flipping foot.
We walked
For the
all
love,
the way around the house. You made him go in the back door
I did.
with the broken foot down the stairs, and then to talk about you.
I know. And you know what we're gonna make him do?
Talk about you.
And then we're gonna make him walk back out
Yeah.
slippery stairs in the dark, right? To get out of here.
Right.
All right.
Chance of rain tonight, right?
Down a damn long drive. And I was like,
And they got a long drive. Oh no. Oh.
this thing out here.
Oh
I
God.
passed the golf cart that he could have had.
I could have
No.
picked you up with that.
He had that thing parked in the side, but there's no way that thing's getting out of there.
Yeah, that's how he slides it in there.
Hey, if you can't power slide a golf cart, you can't drive a golf cart. Come on now. That's what we're doing. All right. So Rob, so you're struggling with it, but you got the 401k, you got this, you got the other.
Yeah.
So were you thinking, what were you gonna do?
Well, my first baby kind of made my mind up for me.
I'm wondering when that.
I had a baby girl, and my wife and I were here, and just we didn't have family and stuff like that. We were struggling, and I was going to this place I didn't really like. Yeah, all of that stuff was there, and yes, the insurance paid for the birth of the baby. So look, I'm not complaining, but I didn't know how, but I was getting myself back into the housing industry. I don't know. This guy named Carlton Sheets. Do you guys remember that guy? That's really familiar. Buy a house, no money down.
Right. Oh, that's right. I remember. That's right. Yeah.
I saw him on an infomercial one night. And he had this
That's
system
like a
was like
great idea.
$1,000. I was like, if I pay $1,000, I'll be able to buy a house and work on it. I mean, I don't know. I was, but I did that and, started kind of looking at real estate from a standpoint of investment properties.
So did you do that? You bought one of those cheap houses?
I did.
Did it work?
It quickly taught me that I wasn't a damn real estate manager or at bad idea, and people are tough,
Carlton flip and lied, bro.
He lied.
Carlton's lied to me. Carlton's giving me a bunch of sheets.
He was a bunch of sheets. It's like
Carlton's full of sheets.
He ain't full of sheets.
yeah. And but what kind of caught me again was I bought a little fourplex unit, no money down. I had to say that word. So that part worked. That worked. That did work. Okay. Two houses or two properties like that I bought. And one of them was a fourplex unit. And I actually started doing working. So I learned all the trades kind of on that house and watching people come and do stuff. And I would moonlight. So I would go in there if I had a tenant coming in. I would go in and fix it up. And each place needed some work. Each place needed a bunch of stuff done with it.
I mean, honestly, how did you learn to do that? Was this stuff you learned from your dad? Or because it was
some of it, but
YouTube. I mean,
yeah, there was no YouTube yet.
Yeah.
I just took an interest in it and just would ask and watch and figure stuff out. I mean, I really wanted to learn how to do it. So I learned how to do trim and read books. I had all these books on building houses and how to renovate. And Home Depot used to sell those electric 1, 2, 3, books and how
That's
to
right.
fire up a
Electrical
sketch.
1, 2, 3, curvature 1, 2, 3, plumbing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, those books. Remember that? That used to be a big part of where you walked in.
Yeah.
There were all those books
Right in the front.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Look at. Guess what's not there anymore?
Get outside those books. Yeah.
Because nobody's reading them.
No, and they don't want you to know that. They want you to, buy them. But I read a lot of those books and just, poured through a lot of literature and questions, and I would hire a trade and work with them and watch them, do stuff. I guess I learned how to do sheetrock. And one thing led to another. I got my ass handed to me with those properties. I no longer have
Those are valuable lessons.
Why do they always cost us so much, Rob?
Gosh.
Why does it always cost me so much to learn a lesson?
It's either you
You're stubborn.
pay for it, out of your pocket, or you pay for it with your time and effort.
Yeah.
So,
And when it's both, boy, I'm doubly so.
yeah.
When you sit there and pour it all.
Hubris is expensive.
Yeah. I'll learn that one day.
Yeah. No, we won't.
I probably will. Rob knows. See, Rob, you know what? I think Rob knows me better than me.
I think so. You don't know
have one thing, but not everything else.
All right, so you're doing this, you're moonlighting, but you're keeping your real job,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yeah.
That's paying the bills,
Yeah.
and that's taking care of
Absolutely.
mama, and that's taking
Right.
care of the baby and doing all this stuff. So
Right.
now what?
I got to the point where I was like, I want to do this professionally. I was like, okay, apartment rentals and all, management, that's not my bag. But I really do like doing this other stuff, like, building cabinets and, putting roofing on and stuff like that. I got some real cool stories to tell about getting caught on a metal roof in the rain.
Whoa! We'll come back to that.
There's stuff like that.
That
might
might
be the
air conditioning.
Yeah, that'll be the question of I want a DIY nightmare story.
Oh, man.
Because I know he had some, because he did very similar to what I've done, right? I was not born in the trades, but you were introduced to it early. I mean, that's how I was. That's how I ended up getting into my business. Was my growing up, every vacation I ever took, all we did was work on somebody's house.
Right.
And then, oh, by the way, we can go see the beach.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, you can go to the amusement park on Sunday.
Yeah.
We're going to be working on Saturday.
Right. Yeah.
I'll see how this gets back to Chris every time.
Thank you.
What's this show? It's this show. You got,
Don't feed his ego.
He's got
Feed his ego.
Thank you, Rob. Hey, Rob, I'm looking for a new co-host.
Yeah. Rob would be a good co-host. Where'd you meet your wife?
at Tuskegee, actually. Yep.
Is she from?
She's from Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually, interestingly enough, that's where I started this business. So that, properties I was talking about. That didn't start here in Atlanta. We needed family to help us raise the baby girl. So we left everything here and moved to Birmingham, where I thought I had a job lined up for me. And I did not. So
another lesson.
First 8 months. Yeah. I did odd jobs, mowed grass and, did stuff like that. Had a little circuit that I ran for cutting grass and
All right, hang on. You skipped over a big part there. So you left the high-paying job here in Atlanta and
Yes.
moved to Birmingham
yes,
because
I thought I had a job.
you thought you had a job.
I interviewed and everything.
And now you're telling me the engineer
Yeah.
on the way up who had properties and was a millionaire, multi-billionaire mogul of properties is now mowing grass.
Well, mowing grass.
Tell me where your mental state was right there.
So I think I mixed some chronological order there. I actually moved to Birmingham first before all the properties. And I thought I had a job and I had interviewed. And, at that time in the job market, if somebody says, hey, we're going to bring you on in 2 weeks, you knew you had a job.
Right. When was this?
This was 2000.
Yeah,
No,
2000.
2002.
Yeah, so it's a pretty stable job market. And when somebody says, again, we're talking about today's world where you have no idea if you have a job tomorrow, today, whatever. But back then, especially where we were, this wasn't people probably don't remember this. The .com bubble wasn't then. It didn't happen. It was a very stable job market.
It was.
Remember that too, right?
Oh, I remember the bubble because I was such a genius at investing in E-Trade until it was. I bought hot. I know.
Did you?
I did.
Somebody's got your money. They got it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I don't
It's over here, Alan.
Huh?
I got it.
You got it. Yeah.
somebody's got it.
No, it ain't sitting at this table.
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, just to clean that up a little bit, I moved to Birmingham first. Then I was cutting grass, was working in odd jobs, and then the Vulcan Materials, which is where I went back to being an engineer. They called me, and I was working as a rock quarry engineer / field engineer for a number of years, and that is when it really took off. I bought the property, so on and so forth. I was like, I can't do this. So it was really my second corporate job that was crazy, raising crazy hours. But I got a little bit of experience in working crews and then learning how to do things. And that's when I bought the properties. I started moonlighting. I had lights in my truck. My boss was like, what the hell are you doing? Why you have a company truck with lights in the back? And, what's going on? The saws and stuff in your bed, your truck bed.
Doing a little remodeling.
Just little stuff. And then that's when I said, okay, I want to do this for a living. There's got to be some way for me to do this. And then I understood how that in Alabama, they had the home builder's license. And everybody that I could see was building houses, It's like, damn, that would fit right with what I want to do.
that fits your artistic and your engineering.
Everything.
Kind of brings it together,
Brings it
right?
all together.
Brings your process, brings your creative outlet. And you're in Alabama at the time, in Birmingham.
Yes.
And you said, I'm going to be a home builder. And at the time, you're saying in 2000, you had to have a license?
Yep. 2000,
Not here.
wound up with 2004.
Yeah,
That is when they changed that because they were grandfathering in. So I worked, about 2004 is when I started, that a licensing, piece, so I got my license in 2004.
Don't quote me on this, but there's no flipping way they had it in Georgia then.
No, they didn't. As a matter of fact, I remember that.
You could do any. You could go build a house anywhere. with
10
that.
years ago, right? I mean,
No, it was right when I started, 2008.
Yeah, 2008, 2009 is when they had I switch here.
Had I started the business in 7, well, I'd be out of business, but that's another story.
Yeah.
But I could have been able to just grandfathered in because I had documented work that I had done, my own basement. I had helped my other buddy with, and I had people who vouch for me. I could have,
Yeah,
but
you've been in good shape.
so your wife's on board with all this?
Not really.
Let's keep going. Oh, let's pick at that thread, shall we, Alan?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, I would say I was a little bit of a gambler back then because, going back to when we moved from the Atlanta area to Birmingham, we both had employment lined up. We wouldn't have just left, and we got a baby. We wouldn't have just left. And so she came over, and she was working with technical recruiting at the time. That was a qualified field. Like people were making all types of money doing that. Recruiting people for these, .com or technical companies. So she had employment, and I had it lined up. And when we got, all finished with that, like that first year, neither one of us had a job. Neither one of us were working. And that was some scary shit. And that was before 2008, that bubble hit.
You hadn't even you haven't even seen that.
It's just 2001, 2002. I'm freaked the hell out. So once I finally got the job with Vulcan, and I started down the path of getting my builder's license, I then built my first house.
So you built a spec home?
Built a spec home.
That's policy.
Built a spec home. They used to have these loans where you could, it was was it contract to perm or something like that? What was it called? It was a construction to perm loan.
Construction to perm loans, yeah. In fact, at the time, the bank I was working at, SunTrust, was the best construction perm loan in the Southeast. You probably had a SunTrust.
It's possible.
And by the way, at that time, probably my organization was the one who was servicing your loan. As I said on my big cushy ass job. So you did.
It's about the time when you had that day where it was like, thanks for calling SunTrust. Call back, please.
That was prior to SunTrust with Greg. Thank you for calling Bank of America. Goodbye. Thank you for goodbye. Another story for a different podcast. That's the Greg Spencer podcast.
On this podcast.
It's Greg Spencer's episode. We talked about that. You go back and listen to that one. This is another guy's great friend of mine who did it. But back to Rob doing this. So you pulled out a construction to perm loan. But then you're working for Vulcan, and I'm assuming your wife had her job in the back.
She wasn't working yet. It was hell for her trying to get a job, man.
Wow.
In Birmingham. It was hell. Yeah, she wasn't working then, and I was, trying to.
People don't remember this, but you think about this for a minute. You didn't work remote, quote unquote, in 2001. You're like, well, the internet, Alan. Oh, AI. No, none of that shit was around, dude.
Shit.
Yeah, you had to be in a place, and Birmingham was not the place.
And you had a baby at this time?
Yes, and we had another one on the way.
Oh, good. Way to go. Double down.
It was like, okay, what have I got myself?
So the first spec home, modest?
Yes. Yeah. I was a modest. I was probably about a little 1,700 square foot home.
Okay.
Block foundation. Pretty nice neighborhood. It wasn't, a gated community or anything like that. The little community was called $1 Million Lakes in Tuscaloosa County. And it's really a old coal town. But, that was a nice little place. It really wasn't $1 Million Lake, but, the houses were, at that time.
In Alabama, everything they call is $1 million.
Yeah.
Well, Alabama, $1 million band, bullshit, whatever. If you like Alabama, well, screw you.
We're running out of states.
Oh, right.
Offended.
I pissed off. Well, actually, I told you I got yelled at in Chicago. We're like, what are you picking on Illinois for? Why didn't you back us up? I'm like, I
lost Illinois.
No, I'm not. I'm not running for president, Alan. I'm just running the podcast here, my friends. All right. So, Rob, you sold it.
I sold that house before it was done being built.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
pretty cool.
And you were feeling pretty high.
I was like, oh, this is it.
I see how I can do it.
No. I've got pictures of me and the babies. We're all hanging out, standing in front of the house, and it was awesome. I look back at the house. I screwed some shit up on that house. I had guys working on there stealing money from me. It was just like, what? But it was a hell of a beginning, and I had this partner I was working with. His name was
True Crime.
His name was John Place, and John Place was a home inspector. Okay. And place to place inspections or something like that. He was a good guy, but he didn't make it through the entire partnership. He introduced me to some really cool people and actually was instrumental in me getting the next 4 properties. The next 2 properties in a subdivision that his buddy owned. So, from that standpoint, he helped open some doors for me.
So clearly you're establishing, you got the grit, you got the scrappiness, you got the stick-to-itiveness. You're making this thing happen. You're still making this all go. You got rid of the partner. Great move. So hard partnerships. We've had some great partnership stories on here, but it is tough for a lot of us.
Yep.
But you're in Birmingham doing all this, and we're doing this here right now in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I want to hear how the heck you got here.
Okay. So, because that's forward.
You're killing it in Birmingham.
No.
Not killing. Wait a minute.
He just quadrupled. He went from one spec that was successful to 4.
I went to. The fourth wasn't a spec.
I'm taking pictures of my babies. I'm telling them. I'm telling them. I'm telling my wife, look, I'm telling it. We're in Birmingham.
Yeah.
We're gonna go eat hot and fish.
I saw the end of the tunnel. I was like, okay. And so I quit Vulcan. I got out of there, left them behind while I was building.
Let's go back to that. You quit Vulcan. Did you come back and tell your wife you quit, or did you explain to her what you're about to do?
I didn't tell her shit.
Oh my God.
And still married today.
Oh man, she will not let me live that. I've done that more than one time, so I'll visit that in the future. But
Still married.
yeah, still married.
So I told her I was quitting, and I'm still married.
Yeah.
Probably not as happily as you are, but but I even told her.
No,
Some advice.
yeah,
Make this
gotta
a
ask for
marriage
forgiveness
podcast.
on that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Ask for
the
forgiveness,
scariest
Chris?
thing.
I have a couple times.
Have you?
It hasn't worked.
Mm.
I still chew too loud.
Head is like an echo chamber.
Let's keep going, please. Back to Rob. It's not about me. Let's go back to Rob.
Well, I mean, right after that, when I walked away from Vulcan, when I walked away, it looked good. I had those spec houses going on.
I had your license.
Oh yeah, I definitely had my license. I had, we were flipping houses at the time. Remember those properties I told you I had some, I was managing, at the fourplex and then another little house. Man, it looked really good. But I was over leveraged in debt. And, most of the time when you buy a house, you're going to have debt, it's good debt, whatever. But you don't want your payment of your, loan to be more than what you're collecting in rent. In other words, you don't paying. If somebody's living there, they need to be covering the whole rent and expenses.
Right. So some of it just to lay it out there, people think about this all the time. You're like, oh, I'm going to rent. Okay, good. So you need to get $2,000 in rent if you got $1,500 in debt obligation.
At least.
In debt obligation property taxes.
Right.
It's called loan service, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And if you're not handy and shit goes wrong, then you're going, we're not first.
That ship is past.
Way past. We haven't bleeped shit so far. So let's keep going.
But you have to have enough to be able to cover that. And one of the things that also motivated me to do some of that work was that I didn't have enough money to cover the repairs. So I almost had to learn how to do it anyway. So, I it's something I wanted to do. I was like, I'm not worried about that. I'll fix that myself. I do that type of thing. So that went on for years. But when it really changed was in 2008. So I got my license in 2004. Fast forward, about 4 years, and all of a sudden, that subprime market. I remember all that, and people were getting.
No, I don't remember a thing about 2008.
You've just picked Alan's scab, and Alan's going to go dark for a little bit. We're going to put him on mute and put him in the timeout box.
Really nice spot.
And he needs to drink a lot of bourbon. So 2008, you're in Birmingham, and you're over leveraged.
I'm over leveraged. So I lost my house. I lost that fourplex. I lost that rental property I had. I had 2 houses that were coming out of the ground. The first house I, sold. Those 2 that were coming out of the ground, I'm paying interest-only payments on. I had, 2 flips that we were doing, a couple of my buddies, and we were working together. And the people who were, pre-qualified to buy the house and started everything, they've gone away. So now we're scrambling, trying to find buyers for that. And, my ass was tight.
Your world evaporated.
And I mean, just in like a matter of months, it was all over. So, in our house, we were, what do you call it? When you stand a place where you're not supposed to, that was my house, but at the same time, it was
Squatting in your own house.
We were squatting.
Oh, it's funny because the first word that came to my mind started with an F and then with duck. So, holy shit, man. I mean, so you're staring at it, right? You're staring at the abyss.
Right.
You're staring at the bottom of the bottom.
I got people looking for subs like, yo, man, when are we going to get paid?
Yeah.
I'm going to pay you, but I can't right now. That's not the place you want to be.
No.
And that's not the way you came up. That's not the way you were about. So as a person, tell us how you got, because today, Stephenson Construction, LLC, these guys have won national awards at NARI for the work they do. And I'm telling you, man, I've seen the work. It is amazing.
I mean, this story is so good. because everybody who's listening out there, for the people that are just going through a rough time, you're going to be okay.
You're going to be okay.
You're going to be okay.
But you're staring at the belly of the beast.
Yeah. The one thing that I had in my mind that I didn't want to let go or compromise was my name, my character, all that. Stephenson Construction has been around. When I started building and all that, I'd never bellied up the company, never, bankrupt the company and just went to another name. I was like, and maybe I was a fool for doing it that way because the American way.
Hey, what do you think, Alan? Let's talk about that. Is he a fool for doing that?
He is who he is because of the way he is.
You know what? I will tell you,
respect that so tremendous.
100% respect that, because you know what? You could, and contractors that have done it, and that probably saves your family. Yeah. That probably saves putting. You're right. A lot of guys do it, but you know what? It's just not the way you're raised. You can tell that's not your character. It's not your integrity. It's hard.
Just couldn't do it.
And I know many guys who've done it.
Yeah.
And you know what? And
couldn't do it. I thought I was like,
I didn't see the way out of it either.
I mean, when my store went under, we did the same thing. Every vendor was paid. Everybody.
I did the same. Yeah,
I know you did.
And then we just went.
Mm-hmm.
I know you did.
Yeah, and we could have pulled the plug earlier and screwed everybody, and I'd have been a lot better off.
I'll never forget watching you. I mean, there is nothing, absolutely, literally nothing you could have done to get around 2008 as a guy with a big lease, interior decorator, and furniture vendor with a franchise over top of you. I mean, it's like 1, 2, 3, and then you can't get out from it. But you could. I mean, you could have bankrupted. You could have done that and said, "Hey, screw you guys. I'm taking care of my family."
That's right.
But you know what? And a lot of guys out there thinking, "Hey, why aren't you taking care of your family?" Because you know what? I'll do it. I'll take care of my family another way. But I'm not I'm not putting that in the universe. I'm not putting that. God didn't tell me. Whatever you guys think, you can't do that.
Right. You got to figure it out, because not only are you dealing with your family, you're dealing with other people.
And here we are in 2025. I'll tell you what, it didn't feel good at the time, but you know what? That's what it looks like today. Because right now, man, you're doing great. And you know that.
So impressive.
Yeah. And you know what? You could have been the other guy. And maybe be doing good, but I guarantee you, next time good feels bad, you get out of it again, and good is good. But you can't be great.
You can't
be great.
It can't feel good being a douchebag anymore.
Right. And you're ducking people.
You're not listening to this podcast if you're doing that. All right. So you hit it. You're staring at the belly.
At that point, it was like, okay, you got to do something. And you can't stay here because your world's falling apart around you. And I was like, okay, no, I probably could come back, but I know a lot of people in Atlanta. A lot of my schoolmates, I had a little bit more of a support system. And let's just face it, in Birmingham's still stuck in the 60s, man. They are still stuck with those water hose and dog biting days, man. They are still stuck there. And so I don't care how professional or how prepared I came to a job in certain communities, I wasn't going to get that job.
All right. So we're on a podcast, and Rob, we got to say it. I mean, obviously you don't look like Alan and I, other than we're all bald.
We are all bald.
We got that going for us, but you're a black man.
Yeah.
And you're saying that did not work.
Oh no.
We got to address the elephant in the room. We don't know what that means.
Well, I don't use it as a crutch or an excuse, You
never have. I never known you to see that, but I think people need to understand that, because it's important.
Well, there is definitely some advantages that whites may have over blacks in this industry, only because most of the people that are, conducting the business are white. So what does that mean? That means that, kind of like will favor likes just because they, a little bit more familiar with that. They're not familiar with, who am I coming in this house? I never always went to racism or, they don't like me because I'm black first. You can tell when somebody's a little bit uncomfortable with, your physical being, whoever you are, they're looking at you like, okay, well, I don't know where this guy came from, and I don't really know. And then if you're going head to head with somebody, they may feel more comfortable saying, you know what, this guy seems like a good old boy. He understands, what we're doing. I'm going to go ahead and give him the job. Even if he's not qualified as much as this other guy, I don't know him. and he's not believable. I just run into that a lot. Okay.
That is,
How do you overcome that?
yeah.
It's a good question. I don't really focus on what people think of me. I focus on who I am and what I provide. And if you don't like that, screw you. I'll move on to the next. But there are certain areas in this country where that thought process doesn't work. And Birmingham was one of them. I couldn't work for all the Black people in Birmingham and make the type of living that I wanted to make. I mean, I could, and I had great, clients and, great experiences, but I wanted to be diverse. I wanted to do work for everybody. I don't care what color you were. I wanted to do the work. I wanted to be the guy that everybody calls to do remodeling. And I just happened to be Black. Actually, I want people to kind of look past that, even if I'm okay with it being upfront and personal. And even, yeah, that's a Black dude. Yeah, I am. I'm a damn good looking one too,
For the record, if you're not watching on the podcast, you got to go check out the YouTube. Yeah. Yes, he's a good looking man. I'm not going to lie. And I'm not like that either. And again, we love it. Hey, I'm not doing everything. We're just talking about it. But you talk about this. I mean, it had to be hard. I mean, we know it is, but we don't know it is because Alan and I cannot relate. I've said this over and over to all the guys who work for me. I have Black guys. I have Hispanic guys. I have guys from the Middle East. I don't know what you guys go through. It's got to be hard to work through that. So how do you do it?
Okay, so when you think of that in your statement there, when you say it's hard, when you think about this, I've always been Black. I've always
Wait, what?
right,
Alan.
Shit. Right.
Think about what you're going to say next.
This is not new.
I did not know that.
Being who, I always woke up in the morning and saw this.
I may be an engineer, but I'm dumb still.
It didn't happen overnight, so that it's something that, I'm like, oh shit. Now, all of a sudden I can't do X, Y, and Z. It's always been there. It's always been there. I've always had to deal with it. So as I get older and it's like, okay, this is who I am. I mean, what else can I do? The only thing I can do is put my best foot forward and try to be the best that I can be and put myself in a position where there's people who don't necessarily care what color you are. They just want the work done the way they want it done. That's it. Atlanta's great for that because it's a melting pot, all type of people here. They're not afraid of seeing, a person like me driving in a very nice truck through a neighborhood that's predominantly one nationality or another. They don't care. But now,
very cosmopolitan, I would say that.
So another thing is I try to keep myself as, clean cut as possible. I speak intelligently. When people talk to me, they may look at me one way and then as soon as I start talking, I say, oh, okay, he's an intelligent person. He's somebody I can have a conversation with. I don't really meet a stranger. And so these things I think kind of help me. And I went to a university. I give Tuskegee a lot of credit for this, that, nothing was really given to us there. We didn't have like the state of the art everything. Like our library wasn't the best. So we would have to find a way to get things done that either utilized, us traveling or, working in groups or going somewhere, because I couldn't just go into the library and find a book I was looking for. I might have to go to Auburn's library. Well, how do you get into Auburn's library? Meet some friends, talk to some people, get in there somehow, some way, talk to the person at the front, make friends, and that I could think, God, I'm studying in Auburn Library. Those are the kind of things that you will wind up doing. And it just gave you a little bit more confidence to excel in places where you normally might not.
Wow, what a great life lesson right there, Alan.
Well, he figures out ways to get stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
He always has. Yeah, his stick-to-itiveness, the gravity, the grit, everything that you have to be a great entrepreneur, to be where he's at. He's been establishing that and filing that away and doing that, and had to go through all those problems. I mean,
some shit.
You have.
I don't rest my laurels on the problems like that. They're there, and sometimes I look back and I say, "Oh wow, that was a lot to get through. That was a lot to do." But I'm sure there were other entrepreneurs and people out there, that had very similar stories, right? So I don't walk around with this badge saying like, "Oh, I had to go through all these different things and go try." I listen. I want to be the best remodeler in Georgia, right? And I can't do it on my own. Can't do it alone. I have to have great people around me. I have to be a little bit crazy to try to do things a certain way. Like, you got to be a little bit off to be an entrepreneur. A little bit of a gambler. You got to have that in your
Fatally optimistic.
Yes, fatally. That's a great one. Yeah, you can't.
I've often said that. I'm kidding. That's Alan's slide. I love it. Fatally optimistic.
Yeah,
You are. You can tell because you just said, I think we caught this. You said, "Hey, Mama, we're picking up the babies. We're moving back to Atlanta." To what,
man?
And you came back, and so
that was great.
And I keep thinking, and this is kind of a constant theme with somebody who's just really built themselves. And I mean, it wasn't from nothing. I mean, you had an engineering degree, but you kind of created a nothing when things imploded around you.
Yeah.
But you had to learn how to sell, and you had to learn how to hire. You had to learn how to motivate and lead, and then you had to learn the whole bureaucracy of. I mean, there's so much that you had to learn, man, along the way. Did you have somebody in your ear? Did you have a mentor?
I've been blessed along the way with mentors. Sometimes I didn't even realize they were. It's like, okay, my dad, I give him all credit, even though I was pissed off at him while I was in school and I didn't even talk to him. As I became a grown ass man and realized that him and my mom, they were different people. I gained a lot from him. Just as hey son, you might not want to go that route. Look at this. Maybe this is the way to go, or thought processes and stuff like that. We had a good relationship that way. My dad wasn't the guy who was, come on, son, we're going to the game. No, it was sit down, let's talk, let's figure this out. What's going on in your head.
Really,
yeah, he was a cerebral cat. He was.
Well, your dad was very cerebral. My dad, again, very cerebral, but was very like, yeah, what are you doing? Let's get to work. Hey, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. We got to shovel snow. What? Dad. Yeah, get up. What? Oh,
get your ass up.
Oh, yeah. And he was the corporate guy all his life. Yeah. So, all right. So you started this business. We got to wrap this stuff up a little bit. No. Oh my God. Are you?
No good.
Oh, Rob, this is why people will buy what you're talking about. So Stephenson Construction today, you have a team. Yes. It's a design build firm here in Atlanta. Right. You work for everybody, all walks of life. I know that. You do some amazing stuff.
Thank you.
Talk about what you guys have done and where you're at today.
Okay, so when we got back here, it was 2009, 2010, and I got an opportunity to do a basement. I had done like a real basement like that, and I did a lot of the work myself, but quickly learned that Atlanta's different than Birmingham, and that you couldn't go all over the place and do work. You can't go to Fultondale and then turn around and come back to Beaufort and then go up to, Cherokee. I mean, it was crazy. And so
Atlanta traffic's legendary.
So my first, back then I spent like $900 on gas like the first month here, and I was like, okay. The bubble caught up to me even in remodeling, or the 2008. It caught up to me in like 2011, 2012. Mm-hmm. All right, even paying people off and getting people back on track. I just couldn't make it because I had too much going on, and so I took another corporate job, and I got lucky. I worked for Target, all right, as what they call an ETL, which is basically assistant store manager. And while I was working at Target, I worked there for a couple of years. And while I was working at Target, I didn't know anything about marketing. I didn't understand, how to get people who don't know you to know you and ask for your services. I really didn't. It sounds silly, but I didn't know how to do that. Coming from engineering, sales and marketing were foreign to me.
100%.
So, this is great. I worked over in Johns Creek at the Johns Creek Target, Super Target over there. Okay. Have you guys been in that Target?
My son did a Christmas job there.
Super Target up on 141?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a big one.
So some beautiful people that come in there. Okay.
They are beautiful people.
Oh my goodness. And I would be working and I'd look up and there'd be this beautiful woman asking me where something was. And then eventually, and the Target markets 2 women. They tell it in their books, it says she. Probably doesn't anymore. But when I was there, it was like, she wants to come in and find this. If you're going to help her, X, Y, and so I was like, damn, they're real.
Says they now.
Yeah. It was,
Alan, continue, please.
then they
Write that from the record, Sidney.
made an emphasis on how clean the store was, and but they came in the store one time, and I was over the logistics aspect of it, and we used to do our changes on the floor, and we had just got done with the change, and all of a sudden there were ladies coming in. Okay, where's this? And then going right to it. I'm like, how the hell did they know? I just set this up today. There's no way. I mean, they haven't been in the store. How did they know this? And then I saw the commercial. Now, that may sound silly, but it all clicked. And that's what I was like, okay, now I understand what this marketing thing is. And this is how people find out who you are and what you do without you actually having to tell them personally. It's like, you got to understand how to get this information out there to them. Branding. They was always talking about brand. Well, what was brand? Well, the floors are clean. The lights are bright. The shelves are immaculate. You're lining these things up every night before you go home. And that's when it dawned on me, first of all, who am I selling to? What am I proposing that I'm selling? What's the market? Who is it? And what type of people do I want coming in my quote unquote store? Mm-hmm. What does my store look like? So that's when I really started spending more emphasis on capturing what my projects look like. Making sure I had on, professional looking clothes or whatever, where I'm going, what I'm doing, making sure that I'm always on brand, and then making sure that, my advertising and marketing and what I'm doing and selling meets that criteria that the target client wants.
Because your target client is your client. And
Right.
That's what you figured out. And I think that's the hard part for all of us.
It's very hard.
We just talked about this at NARI about education and what we're going to do. And
Who's the president of NARI? I forget.
Oh, you know what? We'll put that in the show notes. That's big old moi. All right, let's keep going. But you hit on this, is that you've got to go through that whole thing, because cash makes your flow,
Yes.
right? But the sales make the cash register ring. But if you don't have that brand out there, people don't want to see you. It's called the funnel. It's the magic funnel, all them thing down. So you're doing it now. How big is your team? Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Awesome. So now we're a team of 5. I just basically hired my wife as outside sales business development.
We'll talk about that one after the show.
Right. But I have my day-to-day team, because she's kind of like satellite. But my day-to-day team, I have 2 designers and I have a project manager, and then there's me.
Nice.
Okay.
And you guys are delivering on projects. You guys have won awards. How can everybody find you here in Atlanta?
You can find me at www.stephensonconstructionllc.com. You can find me on the NARI website, the National Association of Home Builders website, and just do a Google search in your neighborhood for best basements in Atlanta, and hopefully my name will come up. But we know.
So what kind of? Tell me a couple of awards. What are the awards?
Absolutely.
Hit it.
We won the National Association of Remodelers Industry Contractor of the Year National 2 years in a row. Okay.
So 2 years in a row against all the nation, all the contractors, all the nation. I'm talking about.
What's the criteria for that? I mean, that's huge.
Well, you
In his category. Go ahead.
yeah, it's the category is with basements over $250,000, right?
Ooh.
And so, you have to submit particular documentation and pictures and tell a story from start to finish, and then get the consent of the homeowner.
So he's doing it a little bit downplayed. So over 250, that means there's no cap, Alan. In fact, we're sitting in my basement right now. I could do this thing to $1 million. I mean, I probably should, but another story. But if you go out to Silicon Valley, if you go to New York, if you go to Texas, if you go to Florida, he's up against all of them and the 250 plus
the
category.
private wine cellars and the
with a few of those in there.
With the private wine cellars, with the automatic wine cellar, the whole thing, automation, the entire thing. He wins, and I was there for it. he wins over the entire nation. And I'm telling you, man, you're like, you want to, I was like Atlanta proud. I was like ATL. I mean, you thought I was like ATL. I was big boy. I was everybody, buddy.
You had a good time.
That was big. I was so happy for Rob, and Rob's team does a great job.
Absolutely.
Rob, we got to end with our final 4 questions because you bring so much that we've really enjoyed here, but we got to talk about this.
Okay.
What's the number one book you would recommend to our audience? Somebody trying to start a business, somebody trying to scale a business.
The E-Myth for contractors.
Nice. Michael Gerber, big one.
So there's the E-Myth, and then there's the E-Myth for contractors.
That's it. Yeah.
Ah.
Yes.
I've read it, and it still has a resonate for me because I keep absolutely kicking myself in the key on
to it. Listen to it.
That's why I probably needed it.
But it listens to it like 3 times speed.
You hear? No.
You gotta retire.
Are you done? Cindy, cut
I'm
that.
just getting started.
All right.
And you leave it. You know.
Oh my God. Oh, Cindy. Why do I have him with me? I don't know. All right. Number 2. What's the favorite feature of your own home?
I'm going to say the basement because we're working on it right now, and that's going to be pretty cool. I'll have some pictures.
What's the favorite part though? Why is it? You're a bourbon
hunt.
bar like me, or you hunt?
I hunt.
Oh, guess what? Rob is going to be heading up. He's not heading up. He's heading up our
I
membership.
thought about it.
He wanted to.
Yeah.
We're going to have our first clay Southern shootout at the.
Nice.
Yeah, I called it codenamed Shooting Shit. I said, for the love of God, we're in the Southeast. We have got to be shooting shit. Didn't we invent guns? And they're like, yes, Chris, we got to do it. We got to do it. And so somebody came up to me and says, so you shoot? I'm like, no, never.
He's going to.
I'm gonna. No, I'm going. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna get on team. So
What's the craziest thing somebody's asked you to do in their basement?
Oh boy. Let's see. Ooh, that's a tough one. Well, it's not as crazy, but safe rooms. That.
safe room,
Yeah.
Nice.
That's kind of weird.
You gotta put your safes in the basement. I know that.
Yeah.
I
mean, no, this is.
How about exercise pool?
A panic room.
It's like a panic room.
How about exercise pool?
I've had somebody ask me to do that, but not inside the house. Or did they?
No, I put the exercise pool in the house.
You did?
I did. Back in the day.
Oh no.
In Big Daddy's house?
No. When I was back in my handyman days, she calls up, says, I'd like to have a pole put in my house. I'm like, I can't have an exercise
Pole. I thought you said pool.
Well, we would call them boys. We would call them stripper poles.
pole.
All right. Hello.
Oh, the stripper.
Oh my God. She says that's
said pool, right?
I said pole.
He said,
Pole.
Yeah.
My accent's bad down here. Oh, for the love of God.
Nice.
You're from Pennsylvania. You're from
Did you get a chance to come see if it worked?
I put that thing because I saw her. I was like, oh, this is good.
Oh, you got on there, didn't you? You gave it a couple of spins.
I did. But let me tell you, girlfriend was not the petite.
Pounds?
Girlfriend was not the petite 5'1" girl.
Oh, no.
And I was like, I made sure this thing was anchored down. But I was never going to send one of my guys over there because I knew, because when you walked in there, it was, chicken run. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not sending one of my guys there because I knew I could keep my shit together and get in, get out, get paid. I'm done. I'm out of here. All right.
Yeah, like a panic room was probably the
Panic room.
It's from like, what do you? Okay, but yeah, people want them. Yeah.
I like that one. All right, let's go on.
Yep.
Next question.
Yeah.
What's a customer service pet peeve of yours? Because Al and I haven't talked about customer service much, but if you don't know this, we're kind of customer service freaks.
Mm-hmm.
What's a customer service pet peeve of yours, and you're the customer?
OJ. Yeah, that's a very good one. Well, not being transparent with them. So is this question for what?
When you're out there, you're at a restaurant,
Yeah.
you're going to Target.
Oh,
this ain't
that's
Target.
easy.
Yeah.
When they don't acknowledge you when you
Right.
walk into the space, into their space, and they don't not acknowledge you, and they act like you're just supposed to be there, and they're gonna you're gonna wait for them to get to.
It's like it looks like they're annoyed that you
that you're.
Alan, check this out. I just did training for 2 new technicians that started with us this morning. I said, so when you walk into Chick-fil-A, both of them say, do we know what a Chick-fil-A? I'm like, uh-oh.
Okay.
So when you walk into Chick-fil-A, what do they say? Welcome
Well-
to Chick-fil-A. When you walk into McDonald's,
Mm-hmm.
there's the
yeah.
thing that you have to hit.
Yeah, they got
Come talk to me. So you don't want me to talk to you?
no.
How about when I'm at Walmart and I clearly have that look like I need help. I need help. And they run.
They walk the other way.
At Target, Tarjay.
I did it, Tarjay.
We always said Tarjay
Yes.
because
Tarjay.
that was upscale for me growing up.
What can I help you find?
Right? What can I help you find?
Can I help you find?
Right? Oh.
Can I help you find something?
All right, last, Rob, you started out early. I want you to think early back. What is a DIY nightmare story of yours?
Metal roof.
Oh, let's go metal roof. Should we?
So, okay, but this was for me. It wasn't for a client. I would say for a client, it was a tile job that I had to rip out and redo. That doesn't sound.
Nah, it's
fun.
boring.
A little more.
I was on top of that during rental property thing I had, that fourplex. And the tenant was, complaining that there was a leak coming from the roof. And, I thought I can do everything. And I looked up there and said, oh, okay, it's just a little sheet metal, blah, blah, blah. You can get that from Home Depot. And so I get up there with my makeshift tie off, and I'm walking on this roof. And it's probably about a 4 and 12 pitch. It's not a very steep pitch.
So makeshift tie off for the uninitiated was what?
Was a D-loop that I screwed into, the ridge. And the ridge was just a popped up piece of metal. So I just screwed it in there. And I was going to come back and silicone it. All right.
And that's supposed to.
All right.
That wasn't the problem. That wasn't the problem.
That ain't the problem. Watch this.
The problem is it started raining when I was on that roof. And I didn't get off immediately. And I had rubber sole shoes.
Mm-mm.
And I thought I was coming off that damn roof. I started slipping and sliding. My behind got tight. I mean, I was like, I don't even have to buckle down. I found the chimney and I slid down to the chimney. And I just stayed there until it stopped raining. And then I just made my way up in front of the chimney to the ridge and tiptoed off. When I tell you I was scared, that was a 3-story drop.
Mm.
How old were you then?
Shit. How was I? 20? No, maybe 35.
Today, would you do that?
Hell no.
Exactly right.
All right.
I'm telling you.
On that note.
And on that note, we get out of here. You guys got to learn something, right? I said you've learned a lot of stories on this one. Rob Stephenson Construction has done some great stuff, but you know what? He went through the trials. He went through the tribulations. We all do it. He came up. He said he could have stayed there in the corporate world and been all cushy and done the whole thing, but he said, no, I got to make it happen. Keep making it happen. Make it up the mountain. We got to get going. We got to get out of here.
Cheers, everybody.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Small Business Safari. Remember, your positive attitude will help you achieve that higher altitude you're looking for in the wild world of small business ownership. And until next time, make it a great day.